Général Jamba Jamba, assez Oriol. Mon tas de tête à mon bois, le boy même, mais que va pas moi là. Anissé, des blocs, merci beaucoup. Encore la magie, et puis arrêtez-moi. Maïne, et puis arrêtez-moi. Si un j'ai été plié, des sacs, mais on est black, on va côté. Et pas pour faire quoi de pécou, de votre à Saro. Et dans le petit yabonia, tu prends pour dire que de manuo. Way, we are way. No be money caillou. Vous savez, bien, mon papa, on est beau firme. Merci beaucoup. Et bien, voyez, voyez, et la dernière personne, c'est pour. Le très ancien Yves Canet, à Seigneur Okaï. Le grand frère Oura Michael. Allons seulement. Les voyez, et la somme, non, les voyez, classé maintenant, les voyez, loi sans ma boîte, les voyez, Panoche, Manuata, les voyez, la Wadi Matouata, les voyez, j'étais Florent. Way de son théâtre, y'a bien passé de will ready. On est chichi, mon yaway. On m'en a d'abi et j'apprends. Pour j'apprends mon pédio. Quand y'a ton plaisir, soit fort ready. Soit fort messiah, et je papa. Mon yaway, que way. Come on, you want to force it. Way, yeah, way. You the no place to yeah. Casonzia Cabra, the way. Bonia Salva, go the way. But poor Sagi, go the way. Do you want to find the way? The poor do the way, the four do the way. Where the way you Mon frère Armel, depuis très longtemps. For the way where the poor money. There was the way they must have been agitated. The way where the poor man, there was the way where the young man, for the way where the poor woman, there was the way that I know some more. The way you want someone more, dear, when I near in a Kaya, no pokon. Oh, the idea, no money, my young way, you to the Calvé, ya was the rock. My git ye, Tayare to ye. I'll say the Français.
Good morning, folks. I'm Alfonso Zienso of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV, waiting for our partners in Liberia. There's the 50-50 Sky with Timas Jlateh hosting Ambassador Rufus Nouvelle. This morning, I'm Alfonso Zienso. Very shortly, we're going to join the folks in Liberia for today's edition with 50-50 with legendary Timas Jlateh. Good morning. Welcome to today's edition of 50-50. I'm Alfonso Zienso right here in the East Coast of the United States of America. And today, 50-50 will shortly be on. Today, Teams Jlateh will be playing host to Ambassador Rufus Nouvelle. Rufus Nouvelle is the former chair, or I'm not sure whether he's still a chair, a group calling itself Independent Council of Patriots. You remember? After COP Kings and then the split, as usual, which is not strange to me, that we always have factions in Liberia, whether in the politics. Okay, 50-50, we believe we're getting a signal is on that, and but very shortly we're going to be getting right to then for today's edition of 50-50 with T. Max Jlateh. T. Max Jlateh, the only grandson of his father. This guy is I don't know why he's always calling a grandson. So we will soon be joining T. Max Jlateh in Liberia for today's edition. Just stay tuned, and I will be right back. Okay, that's a group from Ivory Coast there making a contribution here this morning. Let's see the backstage of Team Max. Okay, that's right there. Very shortly, they will be there. Again, he will be playing host to Ambassador Rufa Nieuwet. Nieuwet is the Independent Council of Patriots. I'm not sure whether he's still alive, but who knows? Politicians, they never go into retirement so easily. Wow. Today they're going to be discussing, let's look at the talking point here. You remember a few days ago, Dr. Tenning, he spoke about the decline of the CDC memberships. Let's see right here, happening right now. As T. Max Jlateh is in studio in Liberia, we will be joining him very shortly. This is Alfonso Z and Soul, and sharing news content with Sky Communication News Network in Liberia. And you're going to see more there. Good morning to good afternoon to welcome Liberia. If you're in the house, we say good morning. Yeke Kaluba is in the provincial city of Lofa there ahead of this consequential senatorial race. We're going to be monitoring that. But let's see here. T-Max is right behind the microphone right now in the 50-50 studio. We will be joining him now. Folks, let's leave the New England Bureau right here in the East Coast. Time check here in the East Coast of the United States of America is 6:34 Eastern Standard Time, a little after 10 o'clock local time in Liberia. Welcome. T-Max is right behind the microphone. Let's see right now, and we're going to be, okay, they are on a commercial. So I soon to get out, we're going to be bringing in T-Max right away, and they're going to have their talking point. According to France 24, South Africa is in the process trying to develop a COVID-19 vaccine. Yeah, I think that's a good news. That's a good news. It's a welcoming one as well. We'll be monitoring all that is unfolding. The final debate in the senatorial race in Liberia, Ambassador Joseph Newman Boyka of the Unity Party, other the big political guns, branding in politics, they are going to solidify their base in Lofa County. Who going to be I'm wondering who are going to be the outcome of Councilor Jala. There are a lot of new folks in that the battle for the seat that was won by Brandon Samka of the Unity Party. Well, Unity Party cannot remake history. It's unclear at this point in time. According to reports, our guy Tama Yense is dead, and other folks said that it's a tight race. Politics is uncertain. You never know what are going to be the minds of the electorates. You can't underestimate CDC as well. So we can conclude to say it's all going to be Unity Party because Ambassador Boyka is there, or they're going to be a political sympathy with what happens to Samuka. To some extent, Samuka, I don't know, but he dug his own political grave, becoming the sacrificial lamb at the expense of Helen Johnson's life when he should have known better. And his defense team not did him go when he decided to go with the bench trial, which ultimately gives the authority of the judge to decide. Probably if there had been a jury trial, there could have been some, who knows, there could have been a different story. But did the CPP really tie or Unity Party were forceful behind some car infight in this case? The interpretations are various. T-Max Jlateh and the 50-50 team in Liberia right now. It's a very short later. We're going to be joining them. Let's take this quick commercial break here from our end to Liberia Public Radio. If you have your business you want to advertise, just let us know. LPR SCAR coordinating, bringing you news, information, and entertainment in a quality context. I will be right back.
Welcome to Fiber King off of Woodland. Everyone that's looking for nice African for wedding, whatever fiber you need, you can just come over here. You have all this nice stuff. If you need ashebi, you guys can come over here for baby shower, for wedding. You guys are welcome. She have really nice stuff. You can see all over there, all those men over here. You don't have to go to the theater and then they're going to be telling you all kind of stories. You can just come here. They're already made. And for ladies, you can just look for whatever fiber you're looking for and match it for the men. And, your husband already have a shirt made. You can get stuff for your kids. You can get stuff for the whole family. We have African slippers and ashobi hair ties all over. We have different kinds of lists and everything. So you guys are welcome, okay? It's really nice. It's Fiber Queen. On 66.95 off of Woodland. 66.25.
Okay, we're going to interrupt this commercial right now. The 50-50 crew, they are all standing by.
Because it's a sort of
and
dance
so we're
style
going
that has
to
to do
the
with,
legendary
can I-
T-Max Jlateh. And he is right behind the microphone in the 50-50 studio in Morovia. Walter, the internet system in Liberia is crazy. It sucks. But at Cuban sale for beer. And as soon as we get the signal back there, we're going to be bringing him T-Max Jlateh. He will be
Can I
playing
stand up
host.
and let me look at, please?
Let's see here. He will be playing host. Ambassador Rufus Neuve. Rufus Neuve is a guy claimed to be the independent council of Patriot. The whole crap start falling apart from the initial,
Just the
from
way
the
she
start of this whole thing
Just
to get us to be where we are.
Princess is
Let's
just
go
the way
to
princess
T-Max
is.
Jlateh.
How can she ever teach me? Maybe I'll ask Boki. Vernacular is a sort of black fish. It's found mostly in the water. What makes it safe and take? I just don't know. But that is not my concentration this morning. I've invited my friend and my brother. When I say my brother, when the guy is on the other side would know what a brother is. My brothers on my left breast to discuss this topic. How cardinal is the conduct of the national census as it relates to national development and strategy, the woeful deception of political press singers to its leadership, rampant corruption in its administration, and possible jail sentences. Question is, has Dr. Taney finally found a new religion, or is black, is white is white? There's a taxi that mentioned that the BS hates the war. Rufus Neuve is my special studio guest, but let me give you the banner headlines of the only newspaper that I have today. The front page newspaper that says strengthening the fight against graft. Financial Intelligence Unit stakeholders launch national strategy and action plan on anti-money laundering and countering financing of terrorism. My father told me politics was not for women. Liberia's vice president tells Johnny true barriers against women in politics. The photo of the struggling, beautiful vice president, Joe Howard Taylor. a hub for mass distribution, APM terminal, Liberia, and ERES, Liberia launched River Union bitumen hub. State committee report vindicates Finance Minister Chue from illegally diverting national road fund. Senator Nyobli Kanga says, and I quote, lawmakers are criminally liable, unquote. Please also be informed that Aquins
Just bear with us. The service is restored out that we will be going right back to the end. That's the challenge. That's the challenge been faced out there with
some donors.
All right.
Such actions must go through an operational process to legalize it. Tabling of the request before the plenary of both houses and the subsequent signing of an appropriate resolution by the majority of Thursday. While we are looking at Nyoblis Kanka Lawrence, the bishop, the man of God, Joseph Kadie Johnson terms the act of politicians cross-carpeting during the electioneering period as, quote, political crime, deceptive alliances. He continues in a quote, while most political institutions fail to realize it's a politician crossing over from one political party to another during the eve of the election conquered a big fish, unquote. No, it is highly deceptive move. It's a highly deceptive move prompted by selfish interests and not an institutionalized or national interest. Bishop Joseph Kadie Johnson says that. The back page of the front page newspaper said Liberia's men's under 17 hosts Australia wing in under 18 friendly match today. Watch that. Even though I don't read the editorial today because I read it before with the caption, the politics of bread and butter and survival in Liberia must be jettisoned. So that's how I read that paper. But I've invited Rufus, my friend Rufus Newville, to address this. How cardinal is the conduct of the national census as it relates to national development and strategic planning? What do you make of Lester Tenney's revelation regarding the drastic decline in the popularity of the CDC and the war for deception of praise singers? Baku, you strong, Baku, you strong. The rampant corruption in the administration of CDC, which could lead, according to him, to Dr. Tenney, have he just found a new religion, or the BS just hit the wall? Rufus is my special studio guest. Good morning, my friend and brother, my brother on the level.
Good morning, brother Jlateh. It's always a pleasure being here, and I love to start always by appreciating you for the work you do. The Liberians prepared to make this level of sacrifice, limited resources, all the difficulty. You have kept Sky FM high, and you inform the people basically on a voluntary basis, which I want to appreciate, and thank you for having me.
The other time your friend and brother Cummins was outraged. He had that was his economic outlook of what Liberia needs to do, and he tied it with the importance of census. And I was asking, why is census so cardinal? But I checked the Liberia 1986 Sawyer captained election constitution. It says on Article 39, it says something briefly. It's not exhaustive. It says every 10 years. Cummins' argument, census is used as a cardinal point to give us an outlook of where our population density is and what sort of resources to be employed to bring relief to those people. Do you buy that?
100%. And we've always called for constructive oppositions. We've always called for people to disagree and give the way forward to the government, but in a very mature and constructive way. Something Mr. Cummins has always, been very keen on doing. I think census, the primary thing for census is planning. you need to plan development. And in order to properly plan, you need to know where the people are and their living condition and the level of social services provided. A lot of people often misunderstand census to mean population alone, the number of human beings. No, when we talk about census, we're also talking about the health, facilities. We're talking about social. We're talking about access to water. We're talking about employment, in certain communities as compared to other communities. So there are a lot of things that come with the census. So under Article 39, the framework of the Constitution, they were very clear that every 10 years we should have census. The last census we had is far more than 10 years. So I think it's important that we conduct a census, of course, keeping with available resources to ensure that we allocate resources in accordance to the density of the population. For example, if you're discussing road network, if you have money for only 10 miles, you want to carry that 10 miles to where 10,000 people live as opposed to where 3 people live. So the entire economic outlook of the country, the appropriation and allocation of resources is consistent with the
conduct of census.
With conduct of census. Secondly, there is a constitutional requirement that representatives should be in control of similar number of people in their constituencies. It is only census that will tell you how many people you have in each district, for example. And then there's always this transient population. People keep moving from place to place. After every 10 years, the data you collected the past 10 years is presumed to be obsolete. So right now, all of our development planning, all of our economic projections, they are presumed to be obsolete because we are using the data for far more than 12, 13, 14 years ago that no longer comply with the current day reality. So the census is very important, and I don't want to beat the drum of Mr. Cummins or anybody else, but I think raising that flag on the importance of a census, national census, is something that no one can overlook. We need to have it. And if we credit money or beg our partners or go around the world to see if we can get money to do it, we need to do it. But there's also a global implication of not having census. The population of the world is the sum total of the population in all the countries in the world. So if one country is not conducting census, we are also affecting the overall numerical projection of the number of human beings on Earth. That's what Liberia is doing right now. So Liberia is not just domestically going against our planning, objectives, but we are also going against the global effort to have an appreciation on the number of human beings living today. Mind you, when you had a census 10 years ago up to now, many people who are living that time may not even be living now. The babies are being born every day, they're getting big, and so it's an imperative, it's a socio-economic imperative that you have the census. And I think I agree with Mr. Alexander Cummins that we need to focus in that direction.
So the agreement Cummins said that census in this way seems to be the blueprint. It's our compass to know what resources will be deployed for the benefit of the people.
Census, if you put it in a military form, is like a reconnaissance. Census is a view of your targets. What you're going to do tomorrow based on the report, the data from the census. Like I said earlier, not just human being, but a lot of socio-economic implications involved in the census. So Cummins is saying before the next election, we should ensure that the census first of all, we could reallocate the districts, because you can have one lawmaker representing 100,000 people, there are no lawmaker representing 5.
That's a little interruption there in the internet service system from inside Liberia. Just bear with us, and very shortly, the service is restored. We'll be going to T-Max Jlateh and his guests.
All right, let's they are all with the same.
All right. It is what we have for now, so we have to deal with it.
And another lawmaker in some village with 3,000 people. So lawmakers should represent equal number of citizens, and that can be determined. The mechanism for determining that is a census. So we are far behind the conduct of a census, and I think we need to do. Of course, the government excuse, is always there's no money, but we need to try and look for some money and also rally our partners to help us to conduct the census. It's very important.
Okay.
Politics aside.
Politics aside. So, Cummins rightly said, before we go to the next 2023 national elections, we must have the census together. There was this apostle, first he was known to be Saul. He met Jesus on Damascus Road. His vision changed. The Bible says that God was so present, he lost his sight. And he said, if any man be in Christ, it's a new religion. All things are passed away, and all things have become new. That's Paul. That's not T-Max. It's recorded in the New Testament of the Bible. So it is with this fellow. I heard him. I've never met him flesh and blood, but I heard him and I was wondering, has he found a new religion? So I want you to listen to Dr. Lester Tenney, one of the founding members of the CDC, what he feels about his CDC as we speak today. CDC last Saturday was their Founders Day, according to them. And Lester said he was prepared to go, but this was why he encountered. So let me go straight to Julius and Princess to give me the account of Lester Tenney's revelation.
To send out a signal that look, something is fundamentally wrong. We got 6 more months to get into the election season, and we have a deeply divided party. And our only hope of President Weah's second-term victory is a splinter opposition. That is a very, very shaky proposition. You can't hope to win because your opponent is not in a married relationship. Your strategy should not be on the weaknesses of the opposition. You should consolidate your base. We feel nothing is wrong. We need to strategize. Look, if opposition win in this country, it's going to be dangerous for certain key figures in the CDC. People will go to jail on perception. People will go to jail on reality. People will be persecuted because the new government is not going to solve the economic or social problem in the country. They will shift the attention of the inability to deliver and start to persecute. Whether people did crimes against the state or not, you're the one who is trying to ensure that you're going to be prosecuted. Dr. Tenney is to draw your attention to the prevailing reality. You stop fooling Judge Weah. You pretend like everything is okay. Yeah, you're telling me, oh, we got a message. Bagu, you strong. Bagu, you strong. Wait for 2023. Don't consolidate your base. Don't reconcile your party and think that you're going to have a dinner party 2023. Wait, me 2023. We know some kind of way. Don't put yourself together. Be thinking that you can have an easy ride. Now, y'all don't go to jail when these people take power from you. Y'all will not play. Y'all won't play fun with yourself. Y'all don't want to be persecuted, not me. I didn't steal against the state. There's no perception of stealing against me. Y'all don't want the people who are saying you're rogue. Y'all be playing fun with yourself. And that is why when we call and send out a signal that, look, we need to put our heads together. We cannot win 2023 if we are divided. Let people be having the illusion that they can still get 1 or 2 people. We lost Lafayette County because of our stupidity. We were not supposed to even attempt to disenfranchise Brownie Samuka. That was the first political mistake we made. That's 500,000 votes we lost. When the Zoos, the devil came and told us, leave our son. The man went through the democratic process. We should have prevented the process from occurring. And you see them like they are nothing. Forget about Lafayette County. We will never get votes from there. Lower Bomb, Magibi, we really think the MPP will marry us again? You have a divided MPP just as you have a divided CDC. So that's a gamble. Don't trust Prince Johnson. He's not. The history of Prince Johnson is such that you can't really trust him. Besides that, the people of Nima County are becoming a little bit more inclined. They believe that they have paid their dues to General Johnson. Where do we hope to amass a vote in the Southeast?
Thank you very much. You're back on 50-50 on Tenney's testimony, Tenney's revelation, Tenney's fear, Tenney's question. What do you make of it?
Proven for the code of competent jurisdiction in keeping with due process of law. So a good government coming in power not going to jail anybody because people perceive.
But
once we have
Tenney
facts,
said,
I'm coming there.
I
Once
want to interject here.
Yes.
You will not go to jail if you don't commit a crime.
Fine.
He said that some of y'all stealing.
And y'all will go to jail.
Y'all will go to jail. So
and he would not go to jail because some of y'all will go to jail because of perception. So I don't want to move the perception aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, people will go to jail on crimes. If you stole from the Liberian poor, you steal from the Liberian poor, you have to go to jail, except there's some kind of constitutional immunity, which we don't have the time to discuss now. But the most important thing in his statement is that the party, the CDC, is deeply declining and divided. And except you want to fool somebody, I mean, to disagree with that statement, then you want to fool somebody. The reality is the CDC has deeply declined. The CDC has been defeated, repeatedly in several elections, which is a test of political performance. So there's a need to recalibrate. But the problem in the CDC is a problem that people are afraid to speak out to. And for me, I've always tell people, I spend a lot of time reading the Constitution of Liberia. And if you go on Article 50 of the Constitution, talking about running of the government, you will see that under Article 50, the executive power of the Republic shall be vested in the president, who shall be what? Head of state, head of government, commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Liberia. Essentially, Dr. Left is saying that there's a clique that has hijacked the presidency and is taking the president in the wrong direction. Now, I will refer him to Article 50 to make him know that the executive branch is controlled by the president. If the president if that branch goes in the wrong direction, the president is legally and historically held responsible.
But he says something in that
if people don't want to hit the nail on the head, then they find other means to say, that John Brown controlled the Peterborough. If you say that the Sky FM is going down because other people controlling TMAX, you are simply saying TMAX is not competent. And that is something that Lester fell short of saying. That's why I just, didn't waste too much.
But Lester said that. Let me correct you. Lester said that. It's a lot of you people are deceiving the man by saying you went around Georgia, you lied to Georgia, you said Baku, and a beast. I'm a crewman. And I spent some time in Lofa County. So I don't want an apology to tell somebody I'm a dual tribal person. I'm from Lofa. I was from Grand Crew. I have not heard this word in Grand Crew. The totality of the South is Baku is strong. And Tenny is saying these are not phraseology.
I am saying, brother Tim, that Article 50 got no provision for Baku singles. Article 50 got provision for the president. Now, I have disagreed with the president. We are on several different issues since he took office, and I can give you all the newspaper.
Okay, just bear with us. Soon the internet service is restored. We will be coming right back. That's Timas Jlateh and
publications. But if the guys
go back to the Moria base. Studio of 50-50 with
losing their job or whatever thing they're doing, and they find the Bakus around to say that the Bakus responsible. I am saying Article 50 got no provision for the Baku singles. They got provision for the president. And in our Republican form of government, the executive is unique. Speaking as a lawyer, the executive is unique. The judicial branch, the speaker is one man, sometimes a majority black can undo the speaker's opinion or speaker's view. The executive branch under our Republican form of government is uniquely assigned to the president of the Republic of Liberia. No competition in the executive branch. There are two groups of people in the CDC complaining, and let me just give me half.
Let's see that the internet is a challenge in Liberia. Let's take this quick commercial break and we'll be right back.
From the West African nation of Cote d'Ivoire, Liberia Public Radio and Television present Business Diary. This program focuses on the activities of business institutions and individuals in society.
I'm Jeremiah Sawu Senior, CEO of All Nation Bank. It has been very good to have this business established here. We are 1 year since we opened here in Anono. There have been few challenges here that have faced in this country, and that is all about the language. But here instead, I refuse to be deterred. I refuse to be discouraged. I open a business and things have been fine.
My name is Mercy Wangarilanga. I am a finance officer working for an international organization. I have a master's degree in business administration. So today I'd like to take the opportunity to talk to you about the COVID pandemic and how it has affected the business sector in terms of me working in an organization, an international organization.
Don't miss out. Be my guest. It's coming soon on Liberia Public Radio and Television.
One group, they are sincerely.
The internet service in Liberia is many of the reasons we are in the 21st century, and yet we are experiencing this sort of internet connectivity. Broadband, nobody talks about it. That they don't talk about it. They don't talk about how it's going to be improved. Here we are. So we're having this sort of issue when a real-time conversation is taking place. What I'm Afonso Zienso of the Liberia Public Radio. Let's just wait as soon we get a system a little bit improved. We're going to be joining T-Max Jlateh and his guest, Ambassador Rufet Nive, formerly of the Independent Council of Patriots. Independent Council of Patriots. They all started joining with the sole purpose to bring changes or to take on national government, and then down the road things fell apart because of differences and lack of trust, so to speak, because they couldn't hold. But I think that's a very great conversation. And from what we know and what we are hearing, talking to folks within the bare will, there's some sort of nervousness as well. And we saw that yes, the party celebrated 7 years of existence, but the 7 years there was no recount. It's not just under the figure, it's just not under the number to say, oh, we have been in existence for 7 years, 8 years, 10 years, or 17 years, whatever it is. But you have to kind of like sum it up, your 17 years, what could be remembered of you as an institution. We did not see that happen. Yeah, even if you're celebrating your 17 years, remember you are in a coalition. Other parties are part of you. Probably it's much better what been done to also include in that. That will show that your base is solid, is solidified. The vice president did not show up. We don't know what happens. And there are a lot of news filtering in. Prince Johnson is apparently what we are hearing. We yet to authenticate this news. But Gwagwalo Johnson is being pushed. To what level of position is being pushed now within the CDC? We will know when the time comes. I am Afonso Zienso of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. There's a major interruption there with the internet, the connectivity from inside Liberia. As soon as we get that straightened up, we will be joining T-Max and his guest, Ambassador Rufus Nive. Rufus Nive is I heard T-Max were asking, where is the Independent Council of Patriots? Oh, all right. There seems to be a complete disconnect that we will see. We'll try to go to them here. But let's just see here while we try to get back to them here. So let's take a flashback. Who is Ambassador Rufus Nive? Everybody likes to be in the flash, right? So let's go back to some of these images here as we wait to get here. This is Ambassador Nive Dent in the heat of the Council of Patriots.
Just Council and some of the chiefs, I consider it a very good meeting, a very important meeting, a meeting that centered around peace, stability, and harmony in the country. So it was a very good meeting. I was very happy to be there.
What were put before you?
Yeah, they were very concerned about the fragile peace, the proclivity of crisis in case there's a mass demonstration that will not be protected by the government or other factors into consideration. They were concerned about the counter protests and the misunderstanding of the counter protests and how it could lead to, to violence. Basically, they wanted us to sit as Liberians on the table and put our grievances on the table and dialogue. The religious people and the chief, they are asking both the COP, the RCOP, and the government to dialogue. That it is better to dialogue to solve the problem than to do protests and counter protests and other forms of
So why do you
demonstration.
stay? To dialogue or to continue?
Well, the RCOP, as you are aware, we are not in the business of counter protesting. We feel it is a right of Liberians to protest peacefully, to assemble peacefully, and to enjoin on the government to deliver on certain promises. Now, you may want to know why we announced a counter protest to this one. This is the first time we are talking about counter protest. We announced a counter protest to this particular protest because the organizers of the protest made very inflammatory remarks, as indicated in the United States government release, warning some of the organizers, whose name I'm not going to call, of their inflammatory remarks. Mr. Costa, while in America, I think it's important to be specific on it, said that once he returns to Liberia and there's any attempt by the government to arrest him, he will burn down the Rabas International Airport. Mr. Yeke Koluba said on December 30, they will bring war and they will fight and they will go to the mansion and bring the president down. And several other members of the Council of Patrol have been talking about war and destruction and mayhem. So we thought to stand up.
There you have it. There's Ambassador to Rufus Newvet, who was just a guest on T-Max Jlateh. Yeah, it is what it is. That was him right there speaking then. I'm not sure whether the Council of Patriot is the Independent Council of Patriot. The main Council of Patriot is already life support or is already dead. That's how that's how it looks like, and that's how it will always be, because these people, they are all about themselves. As long they can see their way through, they will do crazy stuff, get before the camera, do whatever they can do, have their interpretation to national issue, make up stuff, and just unable, basically lack of political tolerance. And it's also happening within the ruling establishment. You listen to the tape there, the audio there from the 50-50, Dr. Tinney. I believe he's an insider of the CDC, and he's speaking out. This is what is happening. You have this institution. It's not just only within the political institutions. There are people who likes to sanction voices. They don't like strong voices. They don't like people to differ with them. They don't like people to raise their finger, to have an exception to what they are saying. They don't like people's opinions, people's view. And that's what happened. And it's an ongoing, it's a long history of our institution, political institutions, major institutions in the country. And this is why we don't even have, every season, we'll always see the birth of new political party, because the parties that are existing right now, folks are unable to structure them as an institution. Rather, they are being built around an individual. And so that individual has the supreme power. He becomes the supreme leader of the party, whether he's putting in more resources, whatever it is what it is. And you will have a few handful in the bellway within that party will go to the party leader or the standard bearer and just say everything is okay, even if it is not okay. And why? Because people are also protective of their job. They will not speak to those. They will not speak when the party leader or when the standard bearer is even going off track. So then how can we have an institution? We will not. The reason you see the West or America, it is where it is. What is going on right now? We are waiting to see if we get a signal to reconnect. The internet is having there's a challenge in the internet system thing in Liberia, not just to keep you bold, having this sort of talking point. The reason you see it, America, it is where it is. What is happening now with the January 6th scenario? It's not about Republican. It's not about Democrat. It's about to preserve the institution, to protect democracy. Yes, you have a good handful of Trumpers supporters. On the other side, they're still blowing these trumpets of the election was rigged and the election was stolen and all of that. Yeah, that's the backfoot of the people who wants to remain in power and they thought they're going to remain. But America is such a diverse country, and the people believe so much their country than even the president. And that's why you can see a break in chain. You can see people differ with their party, their president, and they come out to speak out. See what Liz Cheney and other folks are doing. It's all about to preserve the institutions and making democracy. They're not going to allow people, few handful of people. You see the people that are going out to testify, yeah, they gotta tell the American people what the new then and now. So they get into the bottom line. They are collecting all of the breaking these people testimonies and making of the case. How many of our institutions, how many of the people that stood against Samuel Doe in the NDPL that raised their finger to say, oh, Mr. President, what you are doing, or what the policy of this government, how many persons put their fingers up? Everything was yes, sir, yes, sir. How many people stood up, how many people rise up to the top to tell Charles Taylor, former President Charles Taylor, and the NPP government to say, oh, this is it. Everything was yes, sir, yes, sir. How many people stand against Helen Johnson Sirleaf? Nothing. And all of these people, what they position themselves as the Goliaths of this institution because they are the hair. And so everything was just about them. And they have few handful of people get them on their belt and they becomes the voice. For this reason, there was no long-term goal for this institution to survive. So the institutions were built on the short term. Right after Helen Johnson Sirleaf, that's it. Right after Samuel Doe, that's it. Right after Charles Taylor, NPP, that's it. And they've been going on and on and on. CDC government now. Who can you point to agreeing with the talking point that after the president, George, we are 12 years, as they claim it to be, which is possible, nothing is impossible on planet Earth. But who has been propped up now within the CDC to be the next face of the party? Who was ever propped up within the Unity Party when Helen Johnson Sirleaf was leaving to be the face of Unity Party? Who is ANC now preparing to be the future leader of ANC as an institution, as a political party? Alexander Cummings came on this network here and said, after this election, if he doesn't see a way, I don't buy that. Politicians are always, they make political statements and they come back, it will be politically corrected. So that's not something I want to take to the bank because no bank going to accept that in the first place. After this, he will not seek elections. He's going to focus on his foundation, but which is good. But we see here in the West, the Republican to the Democrat, every election seasons will begin to vision, will begin to forecast who's going to be the future, who is the potential future of the Democrats, of the Republican. And that's how it grows gradually. But our system doesn't allow that. When I'm the president, I am the president. All other voices are sanctioned. So even to you not spot a potential leader because that's how it has been. That's how it has been. Because when anybody tries to do something, maybe with a good vision, guess what? Few handful that get the ears of the presidents or the top hierarchy, they start to wash your back. Alfonso is coming for you. Or Dixon or Wallace is trying to hijack this party. So for this reason, to suppress potential, to suppress talents and good visions of the country, That's why you're going to see these proliferations of political parties always. Helen Johnson of Odd, who a lot of people expected to have done, she came here in the States and said the country needed a generational change. I'm not sure whether that question was posed, in what context, what generation, what was she saying at the time? What was the true meaning of that speech, generational change? We don't know. I wish I had an opportunity to sit with her. We're going to ask her and we're going to go in depth that the questions needed generational change. She had a vice president. Potentially it's normal. Usually when the Cubans complete his or her term, the running mate, the number two, will continue the legacy. So why was that statement made? And we did not see her coming out to say this guy was self-made. So what was lacking that she didn't even tell the Liberian people? And we didn't see anybody, even if she had disagreed with Ambassador Boyka, who was then the vice president on a whole for all those years, we didn't see anybody coming within the Unity Party. Here we are. Boyka is still coming back. No any other person can stand up within the Unity Parties. And this is my own talking point. Potentially, Brandon Simon Clark, who have been the face of the Unity Party. And I think the Unity Party did not solidify their base, their political will against Brandon Samka. In as much as screw or he allowed himself to be used as a sacrificial lamb for Helen Johnson Sirleaf, also kicked the can down the road. But I believe strongly there are some folks within the Unity Party was celebrating deep within their belly. That did not come off. Camera did not capture that. Because if Brandon Samka, if he was to take that seat, the possibility of he stepping up to the task and maybe challenging Boyka would be most likely imminent. And I don't think other folks within the Unity Party were willing to embrace that. And this is how you see this whole mad anarchy loose upon the world to get us to be where we are. Is our leaders, national leaders, just all build, have an institution, it's not even an institution, to put a structure around themselves. And they do it in such a way, politically, it's been calculated, it's been manipulated. And they will do it in such a way that they will have everything, absolute control. And that's where we are. Tani is sounding a whistle now. And there are some people within the ruling establishment that will say no. And they tell you, Mr. President, no, yeah, I don't agree with Eugene Fagon on a lot of things, but he was saying it. That rally is not the rally, it's not a CDC that we saw in the 2017s and when they gathered and we saw how that's for conflict. But you have people there who are so, I don't know, it's addictions or whatever it is, they will still say, no, it's okay. Why? Because nobody willing, when the camera goes off, to sit with the hierarchy of the president of the party to say, you know what, certain things is not happening. 17-year celebration, that's cool. That's a long time. But what are your counts? What are you pointing to? Your 17 years, it's just a number, 17 year, I live 50 years, this and that. But let's put them into column. This is what I've done. This is what can be remembered of me. This is my legacy. This is this. Yeah, okay, you won a massive election. That's okay. But you're in a governance stage right now. So there's a much more greater part, but other people don't see it. But there's an other fight-cited and other people within the party voicing out. And believe me, it's not just only in the CDC, the opposition as well, even in the advocacy community. And this is why you see this breakup of institutions always there, because the leaders are not willing to accommodate second opinions, views of other people. Wants to know you're a guy who always put his hand up. The person, the moderator or the parliamentarian, whatever you're going to be based on the arrangement, when your hand up, he'll do it face the day and say no, because he knows you're going to have an objection or maybe you're going to have a different opinions of what is being discussed, so you'll be suppressed. That's the sort of system we have. And that's why the country is not progressing or the country is not moving. So all of these people were talking and screaming, acting like a little chihuahua all around the place here. Guess what? It's just going to be the same old thing. It's just going to be the same old thing because they are coming, they will want to pay there. They want to justify their actions. It was done yesterday, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and nothing was done. So they are coming. So the patriotic aspect of the love of the country, first and foremost, is lacking in our politicians. See, then arguing about the bill. They pass a huge budget and nobody questioned it. Now they are coming back to us and raising an alarm. Why? It's all political because some of these people know very well their job is at stake. Do you think the gas issues that is pounding and paining Liberians, ordinary Liberians, that they worry about that? Oh no, hell no, they are not. They are not. Darius Dillon, Nyombi Kanga, Sir Joseph, what his name? Other people, they are all Tomafala, then they are all cool. They are all cool. But until Liberians themselves begin to take decisions, independent decisions of their own, that to say, no, don't sit and allow people to define you as a human being. Be able to define yourself. I don't know where they coined this word, political leader, how the hell the creations of the war came into place, for which now people took it as the crown that they are unable to take decisions of their own. They can. What is the reason? God one knows. There's no challenger within the system. So how you expect the system to improve? You can see real primary, what we call primary here, or convention, to see have within the system, and somebody want to even challenge. Yeah, in as much Barack Obama was seeking re-elections, there was some other Democrats, governors, senators, and other mayors and other people. They came out and said, we're going to contest. They went to a debate. And ultimately, the American people decided who or which direction they want their country to go. Where is the debate within the CDC? Where is the primary within the opposition as well? Yet, they say they are the alternative. They were unable to manage 4 parties came together at their own creation as the alternative. That XYZ is not happening. There was no strategy. So was it just a hate? Okay, we don't want we don't want we. Or what were they thinking about? Is it the policy of the government, or they were more or less a human person character or whatever it is? The 4 came together. At the end of the day, we now know from the quote something 3 colluded, conspiracy, falsehood, innuendos, subliminal messages, all factor in and they destroy it. Now, how can they convince some of an ordinary or typical Liberian with hair on their shoulder who are critical and fast thinker to say, yeah, we can be the alternative when you can't even manage? You can manage 4. How are they going to make the case? In their own words, the water was poison. Nobody wants to drink a water that is poison. I don't want to drink it. Do you want to be in a household where there's a carbon monoxide? No odor, nothing, kill you slowly, slowly, slowly. Do you want to live in such an environment? That's what they are telling us. And because of lack of political tolerance, even though the system that they want to fix came up with a decision, yet and still, some of them still do not have the guts to say, okay, this is how we thought it to be. Let's move on. They're not moving on. I never saw any statement coming from the other 3 to say, okay, because of so now he has gone before the Court of Competent Jurisdiction. We gotta go on. Just a boycott. I mean, it's just a crazy scenario in that country. You presided over a process of 12 years as well. You didn't have a thought that the system was polluted and it needed to be fixed. Okay, the system is good when they pronounce Brani Samka as a senator, but the system is bad when it goes against you. This is sort of selective method our politician has deployed, and they are not willing to fix the system. Only me. If it works for me, that's a good law. That law is untouchable. Nothing needs to be fixed. But when the gavel and the table flips around, it's a bad law. It's a corrupt judiciary system. It's a corrupt process. So people, they are just very disingenuous. And it is time for Liberians, for those of you who are politically so driven about these parties and your political leaders and all of that, you need to have a second thought. Liberia is the greatest of all. It's not happening. People want to protect their job. People are supporting people because simply they are from in their district, they are siblings, and they know the political dividend that is ahead. And when we have that, and we continue to build that, to say we're going to have that as a country, then I feel bad. So even if you take Barack Obama, George Bush, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, and take them to Liberia and say, let us have 5 or 4 presidents, which is, of course, it's not strange. We have had that before. It doesn't matter. It's not going to help the system until we, as a people, as a country, as a nation, begin to think the directions that we want to go. You sit and allow people to make decisions for you, to tell you, don't eat today, eat today. Telling these people coming up, I'm an advocate. No one talk for me. My mouth is wide enough, I can talk for myself. So any politicians, any sort of advocates, where is their advocacy? These are so fake people. They are all in it for themselves. When Nelson Mandela was advocating for the party systems in South Africa going into maximum prison compound, I don't think he had a thought, I'm doing it for you, and you're not understanding what I'm doing, and this is that. No. I don't think he complained. All he was doing, he wanted the system to be fixed. He wanted people to have equal right, regardless of your color, who you are, but as a South African, to live a decent life. And he did that. 29-year maximum prison. Poor Liberian politicians in jail for 29 years. When he gets out and he becomes president, 29 plus 29, you do your addition. He came, he set up the system. He didn't complain. He didn't ask people to honor him. He didn't baby cry. He did his part and walked off the stage. Those are genuine advocates. They pay the price. And that's what the late Muammar Gaddafi says. Revolutions without bloodshed is not a revolution. Change comes with ultimate price. Somebody, I'm not saying go and for them to kill you or whatever, but I mean, it comes with a price. Rosa Parks, we saw the history here. Martin Luther King, all of these people. The foundations, the struggle these people went is what led to the presidency to make the first Black American president, Barack and other leaders now. Nobody is willing to pay the price. People just want to pay a short-term price, political price. They do it today. Next day, they want the result. I brought people. I put people together. We do this. The next day, they won't be represented. They won't be a Afonso Tor. If the people don't do it, if the people don't elect them, then they get mad, they get upset. Then they begin to remind the people, this is what I did. You people are ungrateful. That's not been the advocate. When you're an advocate, you gotta let go. You are doing it for a just cause. And that just cause is not necessarily you as an individual to be rewarded, but you are doing the cause to lay the foundations of a stable and better society for all Liberians. How many of people willing, including myself, willing to do that? This is why we have a small country that we have almost 555 political parties. They're running from party like here, monkey jumping from tree to tree. When they don't see their way here, they go on the other side, they put red berry on their head, put green berry on their head, blue berry on their head. And then when everything go down the hill, they come back the next day knowing what I know. Why you didn't know first, why you did not ask the question you're supposed to ask in the first place. They're leaving these parties and going to this other party because people are in desperation. They want state power. They are not even asking them why you left your party. What did you do? What did you do? You are paying membership due there. You didn't pay any membership due there. You interrupted meeting, and what you did? What was the deal? Why you bring to the table? Why you want to be part of us? They can ask that question. So it's an open door policy. Yeah, people have the right to move from one point to another. But people created their mess in the place there, created a chaotic situation. That situation was not resolved. They have crossed it over to CDC, to Unity Party, to ANC, and everybody there shouting, sour, 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 with backpacks on their hair, with red barrel, blue barrel, green barrel. They can't get tired. They put these people in offices. The next day, they don't look back. Then they come back, then they break away. They become an independent. We are disappointed. They are not in the interest of the masses. Yes, because we did not ask all of these critical questions. We did not examine these people. They were coming. We welcomed them in drove, and they came like a boss Bokobor Hill in my own town in Grand Jlateh. And then everybody was having their party. And then we turned around. We want Liberia to be a peanut butter and jelly. So the destructions of the country is not just only within the politicians, it's all of us. Legislatures more or less take a greater portion. The American society here, they can punish their political leaders when they send them Capitol Hill and ask them to do certain things. If they don't do it, you know what do? They wait for their 2 years. They wait for their 4 years. And then when they speak, they go to the ballot box, they take their ballot paper, ask Alfonso to be the city mayor, to be the representative or district, or how they call it, Congress, state representative of Rhode Island, and he did not do his job. It's done. Take their ballot paper and just put what is dead. Your term of reference is over, it's terminated. Thank you for the service that you have done for our city, of our state. We don't do that. The same people who politically were rewarded, they will come with millions of excuses. They're going to be having pet projects overnight, and they will come say, the government do this. All of them, they are all in that basket of deplorable. All. It's a complete hypocrisy. They are part of the system. So the debate that was going on. The General Assist Committee, the committee has a full report. They have everything on their desk before they go to chambers to have an argument. I saw Communist Wizard of all yesterday. I think what I saw, and the minister don't say that he's providing counsel. Are you the defense attorney for the minister now? You, first branch of government, you provide check and balances to the government. You are a separate entity. They don't do that. Let's take a break. We'll be back. There's some major interruptions in the program here, so I'm not sure whether that's going to continue, but I'll be right back.
La magie, et puis il y a des démons. Aïe, et puis il y a des démons. Si anje itebi ode sami oni black one today. If I was to the people, they would have asaro. And I will let you have on your watch you prop on the big on the manual. Wait, we are waiting. Your big money, Kayo.
This song is from neighboring like Cote d'Ivoire, and it's just why telling you money, money. If you don't have money, forget it. Life would just be so miserable for you. All right. We are getting a message here. The internet is a challenge in the country. So at this point, I'm not sure whether this program 50-50 with the roof at Newville will continue. You know, you like entertainment, like run like entertainment, and so we have to inside the entertainment aspect here. So I love this song here so much. There's so much it talks about. If you could understand what it's saying, but it's all about morning, rain, chant. People, there are some people they are just okay, you know. But if you don't have money when it's raining, then you worry. Hey man, the rain coming down here. That's nature, you know. It has to rain. But many people, they have everything cool. They open the pantry, they open whatever closet they have, everything is there. But you and I are ordinary librarian. They worry when there's a rain. These senators, they don't worry. Ministers, directors, they don't worry. They have their cars, they can jump in and go or make phone calls. They have their drivers, they can go here and there. You know, so that's how life is. But until we can take charge of our own destiny and be able to define ourselves, the purpose, our own purpose, believe me, those people that you have as a political leader, they will respect you, they will admire you, and they will take you serious. But we have outsourced ourselves. So we are priceless. You know, there's a saying, it's less costly to invest in the stupid people because you're not going to pay any dime. So the people think we are stupid, so it's less costly. It's not going to cost them anything. But when you start putting your finger up and you start asking some unbelievable question, when it sees you among the crowd, they will get on your toes and they will say, tell him to come here, tell her to come here, because they know it. You get hair on your shoulder. Well, folks, is known. What we are getting at, the message, the program 50-50 with Team Max will not continue as scheduled. The internet service a child. This is why when these people, they are having something, these are things that we need to talk about. These people who wants to be president, how they intend to build up the broadband situation in the country. But we don't. We love drama, cuss all day. If you cuss, your result will be cuss. Because this is the time for us to have a concrete and refined conversations about the future of our country. I don't care what President George Weah wears. He wears Scooby, Labrador or Chinese sneakers. That is none of my business. He chooses what to wear, he wears it. I want the issues policy-wise as to what he can do to better the lives of the Liberian people. Those are the issues I want people to be discussing. If you point out the ills of the government, also make a recommendation. But when you criticize and you don't have anything to put on the table and just say, oh, we'll do better, that's like buying pig in bed. You need to tell me, be more a little bit details to what you're going to do. I'm not a guy who believes in big governments, a big spending. You need to tell me how you're going to downsize the government. After all, the same red barrel CDC folks are wearing, the other group are wearing their black barrel. They all also have their solidarity brigade, this and that. Those people that are chanting and shouting, dancing, what becomes of them when you take state power? You need to tell me. Are you going to increase the size of government? Or are you going to prioritize the National Rehabilitation Center to look at the young generation? Or you want to be another senator or representative to have your own pet project? You build rehabilitation center, you know how much it costs to have a rehabilitation center, you're able to pay a clinician, you're able to hire a psychiatrist, or you think that just go in, go sleep, lay down bare box mattress, the next day to go back in the street and come and lay down. That's not rehabilitation. Leave Monrovia, go through Banga, go through Ganta, go to the southeast and other parts of the country. It's same politicians who brought this to us, who created this because their political greed, they turned around and coined the name Zogo. That how they are labeled, and that's a stereotype itself. The Zogo, the Zogo, Zogo. Is that a name? Those people are war victims. They are citizens of the country. You ready? We're raising money for the Zogo. We're doing this for the Zogo. You poison those people. You destroy them. And this is why some of you, when you get phone and you fire your nails and your eyelashes want to bust people's eye and they see it and they are pissed and then they slap you and take away the phone. Is that a good thing? No. But you provoke them directly or indirectly. He look at that other one day. He look at that other one day. That's their way to vent their anger. Do I agree with what they are doing? Absolutely not. Should we do something? Yes, we can. And this is why we need to have the National Rehabilitation Center. Maybe the Bella Yala there, government could be far-sighted and take that place and carry people there to rebuild their life, turn it into a vocational institution. That when they come from there, they will be sort of, they will have that independence. They become carpenters, they become missionaries, they become, just some sort of handy thing that they don't have to wait for a hand out, they don't have to wait. Yeah, they will be self-employed. But they have no turning point. Hell break loose on them. So when they see you, and you're walking, doing stuff with your iPhone 10, 13, 14, and they don't even have Chinese made to two finger in the air, what they do? They rob you. They hijack you, they take it. They have other means. They have no other means because we have deserted them. And we liberate them. They are victims at the hands of the saint politicians. You have heard their story. They go to those people, take them and register them, make them to vote, give them rights. What they are doing to find a short-term solution to them. The 103 men and women, they are not even talking about that. It's all about themselves, building their own wealth, all corrupt, not only the government alone. We know how some of the opposition can be here. John McAfoley, he told people they were not right. If you don't need to ride Jeep, you don't ride Jeep. But they are all riding the $40,000, $50,000, $70,000 cars. So what is the difference? And you come out, you want to be the smarter one. Little thing happen, you do it, but then behind, off camera, you do different thing. And then little thing come, you come out and you want to be like the good guy. Folks, it's 7:45 Eastern Standard Time. I'm Alfonso Zian, so this is how we're going to leave it. By God's willing, we're going to be back here at, Alexander Cummings? He should be here by now. We have been told on the way here to do a major fundraiser. Other than, they don't want citizenship. They don't want dual citizenship. But all of them, CDC, WDD, MPP, this, that, all of them, the diaspora committee is their financial base. So they become selective of us. There are certain things good for us, certain things not good for them. And people here, they will run the money, they will collect money and give it. And they come on because of Ellen Cochran. Come on, give me a break. collecting illegal money. Some of them don't even register here with FAIR. But I did ask that question. ANC does. So it's also good to point that out. Atlanta councilor, the guy brought his broom from Liberia. He swept the Capitol building ground, Temple of Justice ground. He came with his broom. He's here, Councilor Twawangonglo. I can't wait to have him here. I'm still talking to the folks. I'm waiting. Whether that broom came with Air Morocco, Air France, or Brussels, I want to know. Or Lufthansa, I want to know. I'm Alfonso Zian Sort of the Liberia Public Radio. I want to thank you so much for your time. We sincerely apologize for the break in transmission there. That's part of it. Start telling your leaders to talk about the advancements of technology, what they intend to do if they become president, how to make Liberia technologically great. Tell them, let them start having that conversation. Then we'll not have a break in transmission. Until then, let's see here. Okay, let me go quick here and see here. This guy here, he hit Lofa County today as well. Yeke Koluba is also in Lofa ahead of the race in Liberia. Let me show you the few images and we're going to be closing.
Galakpa Kotiman as well, the traditional people of this town of Boni. They were in a traditional meeting, and so we hope to talk to Representative Yeke Koluba about the outcome of that particular meeting, if it is necessary. But Koluba will talk to all to see. There will be another. There will certainly be another conversation concerning what next. We will talk to Representative Yeke Koluba. Honorable Koluba, welcome. You just from a very closed door meeting.
Well, I'm a traditional person. Anywhere I am, I'm being recognized traditionally. So I have to, the Kula have to be presented to me, they have to be presented to who is supposed to be chain work.
How did it go?
Well, traditionally went well.
Okay, so, and can I be disclosed 100%?
No, traditionally went well.
Okay.
I was received by my people. I traditionally demand for my position and my title. I will receive by my people and the Kula will do all the things.
Some people watching say you are from the ANC. Why are you doing here for the Unity Party campaign?
Look, I'm a member of the CPP. And the CPP,
there is no CPP.
There is CPP. There is CPP. I'm a member of the ANC and there is CPP. I am here to make sure if I will have to mess with the devil to make sure that my Slovenia don't succeed, I will. So it's not only about the Unity Party or the ANC government. I'm a member of the ANC, I'm not being a member of the ANC. I'm here as a member of the CPP to run the CPP campaign. I'm here to run the African campaign.
Are you impressed by the way you've been welcomed and the word given to you by your traditional people?
Look, as far as I'm concerned, this particular place, Unity Party is not going to get support here. We are going to defeat them here.
You say CDC?
I'm a CDC, sorry. CDC is not going to get any support. It's a simple talk. CDC is not going to get any support here. The place is closed already. So we are on our way to sign and to go to that's another traditional place that I will have to be recognized to do my traditional work.
So this campaign is all about traditional activities, talking to the people.
Talking about traditional activities.
I will have to go there and be recognized. I have to go there. Name recognition is what these people are looking for. He sometimes have his own good talking point, but the process, how it's channeled. This is why these people, I'm not sure. Their surrounding is kind of contaminated too. That's part of it. For which they don't have people to channel. Why you think in the West and other places they have spokesperson to speak on certain issue? Because those things has to be properly crafted. You're talking, you're saying things, you're in anger. Nobody gonna understand what you're saying, even if you are making the genuine case. That's the problem with all our politicians and leaders. They're so addicted to cameras. Everybody want to be in the eyes of the camera. They want to be in the photo. They want to be in the fries. If people will recognize me. It's good. He said he went there for CPP to campaign. That's a good. He tries to keep the institution in place. When there's a good parcel, we'll say. When there's a bad one, we'll say. And that's what we're supposed to be doing. Until then, I'm Alfonso Ziensot of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. Have a pleasant evening, and we will be back here again.
Way you mon grand frère Clé Armel depuis très longtemps. Pour le way ouais de pour même dit. De pour ce way de ma serpi agité. Pour le way ouais de pour même ana. De pour ce way blé de yanyo kwa même ana. Pour le way ouais de pour bon matin. De pour ce way blé de tanyo pe c'est moi. Pour way je wa sa mon dia. Mon ani aje ina kai dia no kokon. Calvé, ya wa go la. Moi guitie yé, ta ya de toyer. A o se de français.